Next, we'll move on to the Minnesota Vikings, who always have a lot of talent, but somehow manage to find a way to squander it every year. With the Packers being slightly weaker, potentially, than they were last year, can the Vikings kind of build enough talent to actually make a push toward winning the division or even being a wildcard team? Let's go into it and see what they can do this offseason to make that more of a possibility. What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Coker, and I'm your host for today's episode of Today with Tyler. I hope you enjoy. As per usual, they're free agents. Their free agents are Anthony Barr, the linebacker, Patrick Peterson, the corner, who did resign, Sheldon Richardson, the defensive tackle, Xavier Woods, the safety, and Everson Griffin, the edge rusher. So not a very big free agent class, and not too crucial considering they did resign their corner, which was the most important by far. So going into their offense, Kirk Cousins is very expensive and continues to be, but they continue to extend him. So I guess that's what they want. I won't make any other opinions on him just because the Vikings want him. And so I'll let them have what they want. He's an effective quarterback, and that's about all he can do. They have an extremely good wide receiver combo in Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And then their wide receiver threes kind of mix in to be decent as well, in the stead that one of them gets hurt or gets COVID or something like that. Unfortunately, they don't really have any tight ends because Irv Smith Jr. struggled with injury all year, and they couldn't really find a suitable backup for him when he was injured. They certainly can lean on the run game, though. When Dalvin Cook is healthy, both Cook and Alexander Mattison were successful over the course of the season, and they gave some leeway for the passing game if they decided to ride with Kellen Mond or another unproven QB in the case that they really decide that Kirk Cousins is holding them back as a team. Their offensive line is a mixture of good and bad that can help with the run game and hurt the run game, with offensive tackles Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill both having really good years, and Darrisaw proving to be the steal that I thought he was in the NFL draft. I thought he was going to go closer to 10, but instead he fell all the way to the Vikings after trading back. So a really, really good draft for the Minnesota Vikings. I have a lot of respect for how that first round went for them, but unfortunately their interior line struggled a lot. And Ezra Cleveland's serviceable year is the best they had inside. His counterparts of Olasemeka Udo and offensive center Garrett Bradbury both have very poor years, and the Vikings should look to increase their protection, especially in the passing game, since they did have more run-heavy blockers. Going into their defense, we'll start with their D-line since they were ranked 32 last year. They were much better this year, though. Although Everson Griffin and Daniel Hunter both struggled with injury and other issues, they were both serviceable at worst, and Hunter had himself a great year. They were supported as well by interior pressure, as Michael Pierce and Dalvin Tomlinson both had really solid years between the two. Unfortunately, their linebacker core did let down the D-line, as they were a bottom 7 unit against the run. Outside linebacker Nick Vigil had a terrible year, and his play wasn't at all compensated for the once deadly combo of Eric Kendricks and Anthony Barr. Strong safety Harrison Smith luckily helps to pick up the slack, having himself yet another good year from the safety spot. He was part of a terrible secondary that Minnesota had to boast, and their lack of corners showed after having to cut Rashad Breeland after an incident with the coaches. Cameron Dantzler had himself a pretty good season as a corner one, but Patrick Peterson's age showed and left the Vikings wanting some more. Xavier Woods also left more to wish from the free safety position, making a secondary that helped run Zimmer out of the building. So with a new head coach that's focused on offense, how is this defense going to fare? They need a lot more talent to even have a chance. So breaking down their positional needs, I have corner, linebacker, offensive guard, free safety, and center. So not a horrible situation, but it could certainly get better. An ideal draft for them might go along lines of, in the first, getting a corner, maybe Derek Stingley Jr., in the second, getting a linebacker like Christian Harris, and in the third, getting a center like Alec Lindstrom. While that may not perfectly fall out that way, it certainly is a good run to go by, and I'd love to see them get Derek Stingley. Having someone like Patrick Peterson to help out Derek Stingley would be fantastic, as Stingley has so much potential, but just can't seem to put it all together after his freshman year at LSU. So, thank you for listening to the Minnesota Vikings.